Kubrick Lover, 1972, back, part 19 of entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. So we might as well get into some science fiction. We've got some box sets here to take a look at. I mentioned The Matrix in a few previous videos, and I'm going to get to it today in this video. And I thought, since my Star Wars box set was close by, and they're both science fiction, I thought, why not include these two, group them together in one video, because they're very similar. They're science fiction, and so I was thinking that because as I look at the bookcase and I see the various movies, the various box sets, the various singular films. I'm thinking that I might go a little out of order, like here and there, and group things according to like similar genres or directors or what have you. So I might, what I'm going to do, I think, after I show you my whole collection, I'm going to show you, the bookcases. I'm going to show you the towers. I'm going to give you a tour, in other words, and so you can see where everything is coming from that I'm showing you. So, right here where you're watching me, I'm in the living room with my movies in the bookcases and towers. But I'm sitting at my desk here, and that's in part of the living room. I'm looking in front of me is my bookcases with DVDs and Blu-rays, and then right in front of the desk are my two towers worth of DVDs and Blu-rays. But anyways, so I mentioned The Matrix. I have a DVD copy of The Matrix. I bought it at Costco. And I would show you that, but I think I'll show you the Blu-ray instead. It's the exact same thing. It's a little smaller, and I got it for, I think, $12, and I think it's a bargain for that. Ultimate Matrix Collection. I did see one Ultimate Matrix Collection at Costco, and it had the head of Neo, and I think you could get the discs, you could take them out of the head of Neo, and I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't have that. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So obviously you get The Matrix, and I have not watched this whole box set. A friend of mine was borrowing my DVD box set. I think he watched the whole thing. There's a commentary. There's two commentaries on each movie. One are by, I think, two film critics. It says four commentaries here, huh? Maybe this Blu-ray has even more, because as I recall on the DVD, it only had two commentaries. Let's see, yeah, four. Critics Todd McCarthy, John Powers, and David Thompson. Don't quote me on this, but I think the what's their names, the Wachowskis, they asked these film critics that were kind of critical of the movie. They weren't very. I think they were negative about it, and they allowed them basically to say whatever they wanted on the commentary. But I'd have to listen to it. But I think that's the case. And then included with that, in another commentary, you got Dr. Cornel West, who I think teaches at Harvard, and Ken Wilber. And then you have cast and crew: Carrie Ann Moss, Zach Steinberg, I don't know who he is, and John Gaeta. John Gaeta did the bullet time thing. When I originally got The Matrix, I had it on tape. It was before I had a DVD player, and it had a few special behind the scenes stuff after you watch the movie. I was just blown away when I saw that. How they did bullet time. They take, of course, it's probably much more advanced today, but back in 1999, they had these cameras that go around a green screen area, and they would take a shot, one right after the other, and that would create this movement around a still figure, something like you see it in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? I mean, like like how they're on top of the rooftop. Neo and Trinity, and how does it? Um, you go around like bullets, in the air. I mean, you go around them. The camera goes around, which is just you know, um, what's the word? Breakthrough special effects. And then you have composer Don Davis, who's a really good composer, I think, with music only track. And you got loads of stuff that comes with this. Feature-length documentary, The Matrix Revisited, Behind the Matrix documentary gallery, 7 featurettes, Take the Red Pill documentary gallery, 2 featurettes, Follow the White Rabbit documentary feature gallery, 9 featurettes. The music revisited, 41 track audio selection of nearly 3 hours of music. Marilyn Manson, Rock is Dead music video and theatrical trailers and TV spots. And with the Blu-ray, and this is the case with some Blu-rays. Well, I also have it on a few of my DVDs, but well, maybe in the case of the DVDs, you can't actually watch the behind-the-scenes stuff while you're actually watching the movie as well. But I think in the case of Blu-ray, you can. What was that movie I was looking at? That it was a Blu-ray, I believe. Maybe it was The Matrix. Yeah, it was The Matrix. It wasn't this Matrix. I was watching another Matrix. I think it was the middle one, Reloaded. But as you were watching the movie, you were seeing at a certain point in a small window behind the scenes stuff of how they did certain shots while you're watching the movie. And I think that's pretty cool. And some DVDs I have, there's Neo and Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves. So a few DVDs I own, they have like an icon come on. They had it with the Matrix too, like a white bunny, or in the Terminator they had maybe it's a Terminator head. In THX 1138, George Lucas's first feature, they have like a red cube, and you click on it, and they talk about something behind the scenes about the particular scene in the film you're watching, and then you go back to the film. They also had it with a Titanic one as well, with the Titanic, Ultimate or whatever. I have that, and I'll show it to you when we get there. Matrix Reloaded. This is pretty cool. I think, well, Roger Ebert and I think it was Roper at that time. Yeah, they were saying that I think they even liked the 2 Matrix films after the first Matrix much more than the first one. And I think a lot of people that saw the following 2 weren't too pleased with them, especially, well, the second one didn't quite match up to the first one. I mean, it had some unique things. It had a highway chase, which is unbelievable. Incredible car chase, highway chase. And then it has an architect, and you can see all these hundreds of screens behind Neo and all these various outcomes of what he could do. You don't know which one he's going to entertain, but all these hypothetical situations, and then you see all these things that the architect is looking at, just all these TV screens that show a multitude of various events and things, and I just find that fascinating. There's 2 commentaries. I thought I guess Behind the Matrix documentary gallery, 4 featurettes, including the MTV Movie Awards Reloaded. Enter the Matrix. View 23 live action scene shots for the video game that plug into the action of the Matrix Reloaded. car chase. This is great. I think it's at least an hour, maybe 2 hours worth, and I want to watch this documentary gallery, 9 featurettes. And I bought the American cinematographer of it. I think I bought all 3 American cinematographers that covered The Matrix. I might have got Cinefex, which is a special effects magazine on the Matrix films. I think I got them as well, or at least some of them. Tea House Fight documentary gallery, 2 featurettes. Unplugged documentary gallery, 9 featurettes. I'll Handle Them documentary gallery, 4 featurettes. The Exiles documentary gallery, 2 featurettes. POD, Sleeping Awake, music video, theatrical trailers, and TV spots. So you got Trinity, you got Morpheus, and you got Neo. And of course, Trinity is played by Carrie-Anne Moss, who's in another film I have, and I'll show that to you when we get to it, which is a pretty good film as well. This one, I think even more people were soured by than Reloaded. But anyways, Behind the Matrix documentary gallery, 9 featurettes, including Revolutions Recalibrated and the 3D Evolution Stills Gallery, Crew documentary gallery, 4 featurettes. Hell documentary gallery, 6 featurettes. New Blue World documentary gallery, 5 featurettes. Siege documentary gallery, 5 featurettes. Aftermath documentary gallery, 4 featurettes. Theatrical trailers and TV spots. As I told you, I have a big film book collection, and I have a few books that are like talking about the philosophy and the science and about religion regarding the Matrix. And I also have a BFI. I'll show you those BFI books that are about classic movies and modern classics, and one of them happens to be in the Matrix. Oh, and then I have, I have a huge book, and I'll show you that too. Some of my film books are kind of, huge and big and weighty, and one of them is The Art of the Matrix. It has all the storyboards, and it has I think the thumbnails too that the Wachowskis did, and it has the script, and it is a fantastic book. I really haven't. I guess I really haven't read through it, but I just love it. It's just a great book, I've leafed through it, and I guess I'll read it at some point. I probably will. And you have oh, wait a minute, before I show you that, then they had this that they released in conjunction. They might have released it separately. I think they did release it separately as well. The Animatrix, 9 short films exploring the incredible world of the Matrix in new high-def Blu-ray. Welcome to the Animatrix, a visionary fusion of CG animation and Japanese anime from the world's most revered anime directors. Experience the prequel to the Matrix and learn about the last cities of mankind, the war of the machines, and humanity's ultimate downfall. Witness the final flight of the Osiris, which sets the stage for the Matrix Reloaded movie, and enter the Matrix video game. Grasp a more complete understanding of the Matrix, available nowhere else. Expand your mind even further as you unlock a dazzling arsenal of bonus materials. It's time to plug in. And the films are called Final Flight of the Osiris, The Second Renaissance, Parts 1 and 2, Kid Story, Program, World Record, Beyond, A Detective Story, and Matriculated. It's got making of featurettes on each film, genre chronicle scrolls to screen the history and culture of anime, director commentaries on the Second Renaissance Parts 1 and 2 program and World Record, and a biographical profiles of the directors and animation producers. So, and then to finish it off, you have the Matrix Experience. So you got, from the creators of the Matrix trilogy, you got Disc 1, Side A, The Burly Man Chronicles, profiles a society of craftspeople, actors, and filmmakers who devoted years of their lives to the movie trilogy and the Enter the Matrix console game. Pre-production, Alameda shoot, Australia shoot. Go deeper and follow the White Rabbit to 3 documentary pods revealing 21 featurettes. Side B, The Roots of the Matrix, Return to Source, Philosophy in the Matrix, The Hard Problem, The Science Behind the Fiction. Insightful documentaries that probe the historical, philosophical, and technological inspirations of the Matrix trilogy. So they reference people like Nietzsche in it. I think they reference people like Schopenhauer, maybe Freud. I'm not quite sure on Freud, but they reference a huge amount of a large amount of philosophers, maybe Marx, and also maybe ancient civilizations and Disc 2, the Zion Archive. Production assets developed for the universe of the Matrix, including concept artwork, storyboards, and drawings, the media of the Matrix, music videos, TV spots, and trailers, Rave Reel, The Matrix Online, Explore the Future of the Matrix. By the way, in reference to the whole Matrix, phenomenon, there's quite a bit of online websites on the internet. Just Google the Matrix, and you're going to find tons and tons of well, I'd say tons. You're going to find at least a few Google pages that are going to cover the Matrix and just get into pretty thick detail. There's the architect's room there with the different versions of Neo. I haven't even got to Star Wars yet. I'm still talking about the Matrix. But I like the Matrix a lot. And like I said in the previous video, science fiction to me has more of a possibility of becoming true. And fantasy is just, I liked it more when I was a kid. And fantasy for me just doesn't cut it for me as well as it used to. I will say, in reference to fantasy, like when I was a kid, I was really into it, and I remember I read The Hobbit 3 times. I think one of the reasons I read maybe that book 3 times. I read The Dark Crystal. I have that movie. Dark Crystal was a movie first before it was a book, but because I didn't have a VCR, I watched The Dark Crystal I read the book, the novel, the novelization of the film, The Dark Crystal, for about 9 times. Oh, so here we go. So we have Star Wars trilogy, and this has probably been done to death on YouTube. I'm sure it has been. This is the original trilogy. It's a DVD, I have them on tape. My mother gave the tape ones to me as a birthday present, but I felt I had to get the DVDs. I wish George Lucas. I know he changed some shots and put some things in the very first Star Wars movies. Maybe that would be all right if he would also release the original versions that we saw in the theaters back in the 70s and the early 80s. The only ways you can possibly get those is probably with the first Star Wars movies that came out on video cassette, the first editions or second editions. And then also the Laserdisc probably has the earliest, the original versions. Everybody knows this, I don't really have to get into detail about Star Wars, I don't think. But but it should be noted that um, I think I did see some films before I saw Star Wars when I was a kid. But the first movie I ever saw, well, I ever remember seeing, was Star Wars: A New Hope, and I think that it's significant in my life. It's one of those milestone movies in my life that had a huge impact on me. And I'd like to make movies at some point in my life, and I love one of the, and also a reason for the reason why I like movies so much. I think is because of Star Wars. I mean, there's a few other milestones. Like there's when I saw 8.5 and Citizen Kane, I said that's what a film director does. I want to do that. And when I decided not to go to film school, um, and I thought maybe I should become a writer. And then I saw La Dolce Vita, and I said I got to make films again. So, but I haven't really made movies, but that's one of the things I want to do. But I mean, I like writing too. And as you might have noticed on some of my videos, I've read some poetry. I've read lots and lots. I've written lots and lots of poetry. Uh, a few hundred. Maybe I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said 500 poems. Not all of them are masterpieces, of course, and most of them are short. Most of them are less than a page. I have written 2 feature-length scripts. They're very raw. They're very undeveloped. In fact, when I moved from my house, I couldn't seem to find the whole scripts. I'd only found parts of them. But maybe one of these days I'll get back to maybe writing a feature. I mean, that's like a New Year's resolution this year for me. I'd like to write some shorts. I'd like to make a short. I've helped out on a bunch of movies, mostly horror films. And I helped out on an NYU shoot, and I helped out on another shoot recently. But I was a PA. Empire Strikes Back, one of the best sequels ever made. The only other sequel I think that is equal to it, maybe secondly equal to it. Maybe this is the greatest sequel ever made, in my opinion. But Godfather 2. But maybe it's probably Empire Strikes Back. I think is the greatest sequel. It is. I like it. It's a little darker than The New Hope, and it's also it really fits what a sequel is because it's a continuation. And at the end of the film, it's not totally resolved. You have to come back for another installment. That installment being Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, I guess I liked when it came out, but I'm not. I don't know. I mean, George Lucas also did this with Indiana Jones. What I mean is, he Raiders of the Lost Ark, Nazis. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, you got India with idol worshippers or whatever. And then part 3, Nazis again, But I think I'm beginning, well, not beginning. I'm really appreciating Last Crusade more. I think Last Crusade is not as bad a film as I thought it was. But Crystal Skull, and I don't have that box set. I just did the first 3 films. I can't stand Crystal Skull. I think it's one of the worst movies that Spielberg and Lucas ever made. It's just awful. This is the bonus material. It has a documentary like how Star Wars changed the world. Ralph McQuarrie did the production production design. I think of the production design, and he also did the he drew out Darth Vader before they created made a costume of him and everything. And this was basically to convince the Fox executives to invest in making this movie. And another interesting thing, because I remember because I was a kid when Star Wars came out, I was like 4 or 5, the first one, 1977. But I remember the toys, if you remember those, and George Lucas. um, the the Fox studio executives, you can have the toys, we don't care, and then they made tons of money, and ever since then, like, licensing has become a big deal. So the executives, they want their hands on part of that franchise, the part of the licensing for the toys and Happy Meals and what have you, because um, before that, when George Lucas did that, they had no idea that this would they didn't know what was coming. I guess with Star Wars, they couldn't predict this massive support, this massive wave of enthusiasm for such a important movie, important trilogy, important phenomenon. And now we get to the prequels, which I'm not too wild about. Phantom Menace. The pod race scene is kind of interesting, but most of this film is kind of dull. Especially, maybe you can guess, Jar Jar Binks. That's just one of the stupidest characters I've ever seen in a movie. Special effects are top notch, but dialogue is just incredibly awkward and just awful, And I know because I do admire George Lucas. He really, I think, made a lot of people my age and younger want to make movies and watch movies and own movies. And I think all of us I owe a debt of gratitude to that. I think Spielberg is part of that as well. But regarding these prequels, they just didn't do it for me. And in fact, I thought, because of being, the Star Wars a film fan that I am, I would go see each of these. But I didn't see Attack of the Clones. I guess I just didn't feel the enthusiasm to see it. I think I waited too long, and then I finally, it was gone by the time I wanted to see it. This one's interesting because it shows how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. That's pretty interesting. But for me, the rest of the movie basically stinks, in my opinion. Yoda levitating, suspended in the air. That's kind of crazy, in my opinion. And as far as the other two go, Force Awakens and Rogue One. Force Awakens, what did I think about that movie? I think the last two were much better than these prequels. Let's see. But let me think about it. Force Awakens has sort of goes back to the original movie, sort of the not too much eye candy and much more depth and feeling to it, I think. And Rogue One, maybe I like it more than Force Awakens. I'm not quite sure on that, but it's kind of dark. Maybe parts of it don't work, but I enjoyed it. I pretty much enjoyed it, and I like how it leads us into the first New Hope. I think it's kind of interesting. So I guess that's going to do it for this video. So next up, I think we're going to do the Fantasia box set and the Toy Story box set. I think that's going to be next. And I think after that we got a Giallo box set, and I might mix that with, well, you know what? Since it's Giallo, I might take the Alien box set and the Nightmare on Elm Street box set and combine them. Or maybe I'll just separate, maybe I'll use parts of each. I'm not sure. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know. And because, for example, Showa Show might deserve its own video. I don't know if anybody if any of you know what Showa is about. It's a Criterion. It's a documentary. A critic, I think it was Roger Ebert, was the critic, said that it was the greatest documentary ever made, and it's basically recounting the Holocaust. It's about the Holocaust. Showa, maybe Showa is the Jewish word for Holocaust. It's like a 9-hour movie, and it was made by Claude Lanzmann, and he made a sort of like a sequel to it like a few years back that was nominated for Best Short Film at the Oscars, documentary. But Showa doesn't show any footage from World War II. It's all set. All the footage is shot in the present, and it's about these Jewish Holocaust survivors talking about. They go to some of the places where the actual Holocaust happened. They also the director who was he's French and he happens to be Jewish. He also interviewed some Nazis, not the Nazis not knowing that he was that he was Jewish. So that's what's coming up, and we got more stuff too. We got Scorsese, we got Gangsters. Maybe I can combine those. No, Scorsese, I saw much of. He deserves his own video, just like all the other guys. Kurosawa, Buñuel, Fellini, Fassbender. You get the gist. Godard and whatever, But I guess I'll do it. And thanks for watching again. We're slowly moving on the box sets bookcase. I think we're still up at number one. There's three shelves, but we're making progress. You can see this is like video 19. I guess I will say to you that please don't feel obligated to watch any of these videos. Watch the ones you take a fancy for. If you don't want to watch these, or if you want something different, I've written some poetry. You can watch those. There's some GarageBand stuff. Like I said, more hits would be appreciated on those as well. I think I get a fair amount of hits on the poetry ones, but GarageBand, I'd like people to hear my music and see what they think. I don't see a lot of hits on those, and I also have a treatment that I wrote. I know I'm sort of saying this over and over again, but I probably should make the title more clear for the video. But it's Cost of Love. It's a treatment like a synopsis it's a short movie. It's like a synopsis before I write the script. It's like a summary of what happens. So I wrote the treatment, and then I took Google Photos and I edited them together and took sound effects and music and did a voiceover narration of what the film's about while it's happening. And that's the film I like to make, but it's not easy order, I guess. It's got car chase, but maybe you can do it with a green screen, or you can fake it somehow. Or you can do it at night. Maybe that's easier. You can use shoot from a low angle and have cars go past, and you have no idea that the car is stationary. You can use like leaf blowers to make the wind to go through the hair to make it look like the car is going rapidly. And there's a scene where the protagonist jumps from a bridge on top of the guy's car. Maybe it'd be a flatbed truck, into a mattress, or a dummy would be thrown off the bridge. But I've gone through like 6 drafts of it. I had a few drafts before it became what it is now. So, if you can take a look at that, I'd appreciate it. It's called Cost of Love #3. And then I have, I took a digital filmmaking course, and I guess I'm not looking right into the camera, am I? I guess I am looking into it now. I did a short film for a digital filmmaking class. We had to do If Dogs Could Talk. So I thought If Dogs Could Sing, because I thought of the song Dirty Dog by ZZ Top. And so that's next to Cost of Love. You'll see it there. So I've gone on long enough. I'll do a more coherent video of like a like saying what's on my channel and you know what all the what all of them are about and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a short video, I hope. So, anyways, enough chatter. See you in the next video pretty soon. Thanks for watching.